Ayo, I don't know what you did for. I say, we can this answer. Nana Yanya Ko, and if you're my by me, sorry, 7 I started 1 o'clock, Papa, but I'm here. What team me brain? Why I want media? I know who say, we need me here, some Jimmy Jane, never so live and never so colored. Inti muma yentie daughters of glorious Jesus. Now manusi pa mu betiminka and there you will onim therefore be Marc, a practicing pharmacist as I call him. I've asked for his time because we need to hear a lot about vaccines and the COVID and you made any safeguard your home for your future. Yeah, you need your families into the Marc from me ain't cry not me no actually drink come into what me need you number who say we need you me here some Jumadi and ever so live and ever so colored into Mr. Fred when you be not catch and say young lady no what banty on tell me why we don't want to say. Mama main testing lines in Shade. Hello.
Hello, yeah, I'll come through now, that's fine.
Okay, Mark, here you are.
Yeah.
Excellent. Me pacho my another 10 minutes why not you best say atunka.
No problem.
Perfect. Speak soon.
So I'll call back then in 10 minutes, yeah.
Me pacho ani.
Okay, there, well done. Cheers.
Bye bye. Yo, it's phone. I wanted to test the lines quickly to make sure that it works. Into Mark and I'm in Kano. Ain't your cry or referee not ye di. Come on. Ayo, daughters of glorious Jesus, almost see February and a why amami wo afimu. Enti yati omunkedi and I who said when EJ AME here some Jumadian a basso live now basso colored. For those of you who were wondering where I was last week, I was unwell. In fact, the plan was to go to my niece's, my sister, but that makes her my daughter, my niece. So they call ni naming ni birthday all in one go. But I was very, very ill and so in your cold and also in your flu, but it was just something really horrible. I really wanted to bring you today's show because Mark had dedicated some time to really talk to us. He is a professional. He's got so many letters after his name. So I'm hoping, sir, you've been a bit of an insight into who Mark is, his background, his professional background, and then what he can teach us about COVID and the vaccines and you say AstraZeneca, being so sad, Pfizer. I'm saying you see third one being so hopefully Mark be educated. To Mr. Ewa, just call your sister or your brother. Our family na mo munya wa says ajuma dear with it and yes sir or miss it. Why inti madam wasi. Muma inti and yum back and I say and yum nisia mo be saying atimini. And you may person me born say Mr. M video on the revelation for Anna Ashisha. I heard it during the week. I was really touched by it, so I hope that so ever bound for so over enjoying. So let's hear it and see what you make of it because I really like this song. And then ultimately, I know I posted comment one of my said, who had to say, oh, baby, I won in a naya and yakuni. Me, but why not would you tell me why me area and Koya? But I'm very pleased and happy to be in the studio today. Mr. John Owusu, thank you for tuning in. I've seen your comment. I hope so. Mr. Owusu, bet me I know why you be a mommy. Why? Just post a comment, say hello, Namika hi, Namami baby. I want a honso et to say. Me say, and then Mark and friend, I entertain come out about COVID and the vaccines. It's always good to get a professional who can share everything we need to know. I mean, there is only so much I can do with my human resources background. The all acceptance on here, bidding come in, and I've been very, very pleased. I've got my second dose to have. And we're hearing something about say chakra omo besai amaya babe ya for front. You know, it kind of makes you wonder, sir. Where are we going with this vaccine? You know, check Mark ever framing. To say when you're crying out, you will feed in that to her. You better was it for time, and I hope, sir. Particularly, and next show no obet me and ya so emphasis over brave. Mommy has on a air frame here. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello. Okay, yeah, but I try bio na ya share Mark. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. We'll fetch your Mark ni.
Mark say.
Mr. Baffoe-Boney, nam pacho umpong etisay. Okay. And then you see a new ever to drink community. Yeah, but that was the firstly full time.
Oh, what's the learning?
Mark, are you comfortable with Chi and as English and I blend?
Both of them works well. Good as it should be.
Okay. That's all right. Me pacho bit me I introduce you who are my listeners and your viewers. Akakra.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jyoti, a friend of Marc Baffoe-Boney. I'm a pharmacist for the United Kingdom, I say, Southeast. And I've mostly worked in the Southeast and then also in Essex and parts of Gatwick, that sort of area, Essex and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, now Mr. Baffoe-Boney, say a flyer, no, you the letters be brave. Go within Echi. In fact, there could have been more, but we only had space for a few. Me pacho MRPharmS, no, Jinaho Emadane.
It stands for Member Royal Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain. Normally, what ends up happening is that once you set the prescribed examinations and achieve the required qualifications, so on, you are deemed to be a member of the Royal Pharmaceutical, and those letters are honorific after the name. Like you said, there are a few other letters as well, but we know this is the main professional one I tend to use.
Okay, Mark, me pacho obi I post you on Facebook, so we a Pesco boy. Oko Pesco now.
Pacho, the Baffoe-Boney family is a very big family, and I have a few cousins who did go to St. Peter's. My mom here, I did the course in Augustine, that's in Cape Coast, in German Abyssinian. I would see this opportunity to give a shout out to Absolute UK, my guys, my brothers are on more platforms, so Madam Activity in time of busy schedules, and also to Absolute 87, which is my year group, because I'm a year I finished my DDD.
Excellent. Inti Wakakakrasa Oko St. Augustus. Can you give us a bit about your educational background? Because obviously I know sir we are professional pharmacists registered in the UK, and then the main topic na COVID. But just a bit about your educational background, where you schooled, and maybe are you a family man?
Education was let's just say, so I did the profession of my so I attended primary school in Nkrumah, which is University Primary, in St. Augustine, and back to Nkrumah, which is the University of Science and Technology. So here, friend of KNUST, my time it was called Tech. Then when I'm here, I found a degree. After that, I traveled out to the country and I came to the UK. I did a postgraduate diploma at the University of Sunderland, then an MBA at the University of Middlesex Business School. And then ever since then, I've been basically working on and off. I do other, business professional education courses and diplomas and so on and so forth, but I'm not yet mostly to do with day-to-day things, etc. Personal life, I'm married, 4 children. I know of 2 of them.
If are you married with 4 children that you know of? So could there be children that you don't know of then? Sorry.
Therefore, I can't comment.
You don't want to be a rolling, say you. But no, Mark, tell me how I drink.
And then, like I said, I've got 4 children. Eldest is in university, number 2 just finished his GCSE, and then the twins are about to, when school brings up in for the autumn term, they will be going to year 11.
Okay, great. It sounds like you've got your hand full. I really admire people like you who have managed to combine being true professionals as well as raising a family. Now, Mark, Rebecca COVID, how much do you know of COVID? Or actually, no, that's a broad topic. But what is COVID?
Basically, right, in order to understand what COVID is, you need to understand what coronavirus is. Right? A coronavirus basically is a type of virus which, when you view it under the microscope, it looks like a crown. That is why they call it a coronavirus. Those protuberances, which are the anchor points for the virus to anchor to a hosting organism, those protein points, are, like I said, they look like the point on a crown. By the last time of counting, there are 7 main families of coronaviruses. 4 of them tend to give you the flu, a cold, and minor respiratory disorders. The remaining 3 are the more dangerous ones. The remaining 3, that's one way. You cast your mind back some years back, there was an epidemic in China, which was severe acute respiratory syndrome. Was caused by a coronavirus. And there was something called the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, called MERS. Now we've got this particular one, which is called SARS-CoV-2, which is the severe acute respiratory syndrome CoV-2. And you have written into COVID-19. And I'm also adding other high and so a higher rate.
Okay, nkɔfoɔ bebree ewu na ebi sɛ nka ɔmo nya ade wɔ mpo yɛ friend is saa machine na yɛde ɔmo to so no in the hospital to help them breathe na bebree ewu yɛ yɛsi nka yɛnya ne ntɛm anka ambasa. Why do you think so many people died of this thing and sign a vaccine before we talk about vaccines? No.
Okay, the thing is basically a virus like this SARS-CoV-2, a predatory virus, just to say, cause a lot of havoc, cause a lot of harm. Now the thing with this virus is if your immune system is in fairly good condition, the aid of other medications and symptomatic relief, you will probably do well to come out of it. But now the existing condition, I am now what and why how we never can why. That is what tips you over the edge. What we do is we find out that the majority of people who actually passed on after contracting, they would have had a hidden condition, which we call a comorbidity. I know that I'm what that I know man, I'm a water that. And we know every count. We never count. That's not just it. No matter shall I go here and mouse that.
I see. It's just rather unfortunate because a lot of people died, including Ghanaians. Can you tell us a bit more about vaccines? Yeah, Abe. What are the types of vaccine available now?
Okay. Basically, right. To talk about the vaccine, we would need to understand a brief concept of what we call what your immune system does. So the analogy I would use would be say if we need next time now you change your door. You probably change your lock. You probably get more careful about things around the house, not open certain windows. That is the analogy behind immunization. What ends up happening with a vaccine is there to actually relate your immune system to recognize the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which is intended to invade your system, and put up barriers to fight this invading organism. And the virus to cause damage. All the time, the vaccination programs in a race get ahead of the virus. Now, virus can do and also to protect itself against the defenses that you have put up. All the time, vaccination program, but variants, BIS Indian variant, BIS Kent variant, BIS South African variant. And not only the same SARS-CoV-2, but it mutated, it has changed its protein form so that it can do its job more effectively of dealing you some damage. The idea about this immunization program now the governments are carrying out around the world is to find a vaccine which can, one, stop the current variant, and two, any.
Okay, I think Sir Mark has dropped off. He will come back whilst we wait for Mark. No, say me and you be and then me percent your fat time be brain not your day explore everything because some people are in the valley of decision. Should I have the vaccine? Yes, my what two in after two in answer crano. If you more my one in air contracted COVID into no what is going on? MRPharmS Benya marker. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, we've got you back, Mark.
Yeah, I'm back here. Thank you. Where was I now?
Now yeah, can't vaccines in the WhatsApp.
The vaccination program is designed to ensure that they can protect people who accept the vaccine from the current variant. Also, any further iterations of the virus, which means any new variants that come on in the system currently. So the whole idea is to try and get as much of the population vaccinated as possible. Thereby, if those who don't take the vaccination are outnumbered by those who take the vaccination, and something is which is called herd immunity. In that way lies possibility of our society coming back to something approaching normalcy. Now, at the moment, in the UK market, there are three vaccines currently used in the NHS. The first one being AstraZeneca, second one being Pfizer-BioNTech, and the third one being Moderna. The AstraZeneca is the first one that was used for people aged 80 and above and working their way down the cohorts. But currently, the one that's being vaccinated are the under 40s. Those ones are being offered Pfizer-BioNTech. Moderna, a few cases are using it, but it's not very used yet.
Okay, Mark. Thank you. Now, compare me with a question. I know when we spoke and Sana Uban, I asked you a question about COVID and when you be done, and then you said yes. Is that true? How was the experience of COVID and Sana about vaccines and so?
Okay, let's just put it this way. If you recall, some of our listeners might recall, those in the UK will recall, towards the end of last year.
You are listening on TuneIn. Explore the world's largest audio
October time, NHS instituted what they call the normal flu vaccination program. And they suddenly realized that a lot of people who developed the flu, their immune systems were a bit down. If they didn't have COVID, it would actually cause them a lot of harm. So they actually expanded the flu vaccination program to all over 50s and said, go see the GP, go see your pharmacist, get the flu vaccination, protect yourself over the winter. Flu vaccination program. We had a lot of people coming in then, and that probably was when I actually contracted this illness. So I would say the end of December. 31st of December, I started feeling unwell, and then it went downhill from there. Now, what I would say, again, personally, is that that illness is not something I'll wish on my worst enemy. If you've had the flu, and remember how you felt with the flu, multiply that by 10, you begin to get to where COVID is in terms of how it affects you. Raging temperature, aches and pains, headaches, you name it, anything, everything. I lost my sense of taste. Didn't lose my sense of smell though, but I lost my sense of taste. I had a banging headache. I didn't have the dry cough. I had wheezing and difficulty in sort of moving. And chest X-ray showed dark patches on my lungs. So I basically was put on a heavy dose of steroids, which is dexamethasone, and a heavy dose of antibiotics as well. It was a bad time, let's put it that way.
I see. Now, Matisse, omo contract, and sometimes I affect you sexually, especially men. No, then I walk home if possible.
Well, I'll put on two hats here. Professionally speaking, so we get feedback from our patients who come in post whatever, and their witness it crashes your libido to zero. Some of them actually complained of shrinkage of penis, and also shrinkage of testicles. Some even came by with complete and utter loss of sexual ability and so on and so forth. I personally didn't suffer a shrinkage of a penis, but my balls shrunk, yes.
Yeah, the country might say, Oshua phone, yeah, me boy.
Me sure a shrinkage, a bed something.
Oh, wow. But the men you need tool need affect, you know.
Yeah, but sir, without tools, the penis, you know. One way a trigger, no. It is a trigger, no, for the end, it you lessons and for nothing. So, it was when the ball started hanging properly, I'm going to
And tonight, no, sir, no person or game, my bassin.
To be honest with you, not the home regret to the extent that I was not interested in anything of that sort. All I was going to look lines better we. It makes me upset. That material point in time, speaking from personal experience, the last thing on your mind over where the visa. So
okay, I don't matter since say who says so your Bema Nasa unyebia. A bit me affect you down below. But the good news is I affect you and Chessa me boy because say you're back on track. Shwano new size as I am now.
yeah, but you see here's the problem. this particular thing here, this SARS-CoV-2 infection, we are learning about it as we go along. The possible side effects, the possible development of the illness, the possible symptoms, it's a dynamic situation. It keeps on evolving. Any medical personnel listening to us now, say what was reported as gospel at the beginning of this year, it's no longer gospel. It's changing. We are learning. The fear is that it might affect you genetically. Excuse me to speak. Your spermatogenesis, which is the generation of sperm in your testicles, might be affected. It might be say, and I think it can affect your fertility. We don't know. It's only in some years to come when all the literature is collated and put together, and finally be able to say, this is what it does, and this is how it does it. It brings me immediately to the point, say, you are offered a vaccine, I would strongly recommend taking it, because you don't want to develop the illness and then in 5 years' time you find out that there's something totally wrong internally. It is due to that. So
okay, Mark, Obi Abusa question. Before we even explore the various vaccines now our body in, actually, what can AstraZeneca, what can is it Pfizer BioNTech?
Pfizer BioNTech.
And then there is Moderna, no?
Moderna, you better trying to say because we don't see too many of those being given out. And there's a new one in the pipeline, which is Janssen, and also that probably a bit later on this year.
Janssen, and actually say, I don't know, Ghana for a producer and as to say.
The Janssen, it's a Belgian sort of thing that is going on. That will come through the system probably September, October time.
Okay, me pacho, you better go into it, but me your question be also me busao. Clarinda, no, thank you. My cousin or US or what or see, how does the vaccine affect women's reproductive system? Should women be worried about any issues with trying to get pregnant after taking the vaccine and now?
I'll say yes and no. The yes bit is that normally when you're developing a new medication, it goes through various iterations of trials. So you have phase 1 clinical trials, phase 2 clinical, phase 3. Then you have the the post-marketing surveillance and so on and so forth. So there's a sort of standard syllabus for these things. In this situation, a pandemic is declared in March and a vaccine is developed in December. It hasn't had time to go through all the regulatory hoops, which means that certain side effects and certain long-term effects are purely guesswork. Into what they say, let's say, if you are going to take the vaccine, normally, because I work for a company called Royal Pharmaceutical Society, and we've had a contract to deliver vaccinations for the NHS. When they come in with a pre-screening clinical questions, we want to find out if it's a lady, if she's possibly pregnant or not, and if she is, we look at how far gone she is, and so on and so forth. So there's a sort of algorithm which we put them through before we decide whether she's suitable for a particular vaccine or not. That said, the answer to your questioner's query is we don't know if it can affect fertility or it can affect a possible baby, that is to say whether it's teratogenic or not. So what we would say is we weigh these things in a balance. If you are already expecting and you develop SARS-CoV, it will definitely affect baby. So the risk to you and baby is higher if you develop SARS-CoV, as COVID-19, rather than take the vaccine. So we would advise take the vaccine. Yeah.
Some more. Mark, me and my take about 5 minutes break. Now, in fact, and you being from Nasa, if it's okay for you to call me back in 5 minutes. then collecting some questions, but also we're going to go deeper into the various vaccines. So what they say, which one is good for you to have? And what are the side effects or the risk factors for both? Because neocasis here and it say we're all better off having it than not. Maybe what?
Yes, I would say it is riskier to develop the illness or contract the illness than to get the vaccine. Much, much riskier. And most, like health professionals listening would probably agree with that situation. But what I would say is it's a lot riskier to develop it. Much, much riskier.
Mate, I don't yeah, who been say 5 minutes be on that sign reconnected with why so I meant baby.
No problem.
Thank you. Eche for sa wa join here na ya nya koju medie so ana waso eguso a wotimi ni abranti ayenya na ene ne twetwe nkomo no your friend Marc Baffoe-Boney. He's a professional pharmacist or a practicing pharmacist. He knows a lot about pharmacy and medicines and health and everything. But an agent, I'm percent you're going to the coronavirus and any associated vaccines countries aren't available. It's available to people in the West. A bit more our choice, but I think that in some parts of the world, some continent like Africa per se, and you'll be when you saw opportunity and input to have the vaccine whilst we're all making up our minds, say what and answer my what are the things that I will say you're aware of, and those are some of the things I'm trying to explore with Mark. And it is why joining me on your eye. We're having really good conversations. Join in. Mama Diana Hamilton and you may or say I don't if it works for me, hopefully the very relaxing your brains. And that's a war question. Be another post your mommy. While I know akutia means I can question.
champion. Rainbow Radio. Hey, yo, yo, yo. Africa's best station. Yeah. Oh, yo, yo. Rainbow Radio. Africa's best station. Hey, yo. Non-stop music, we are flow. Shut and rock or says so. I don't know.
Say afe ya na wa join me ya mema wo akwaba na na ya nya kon dwumedie so na waso eguso a wote meni abranti a ene yenya na ene no twetwe nkomo your friend Marc Baffoe-Boney. Marc a pharmacist or you registered or UK Hana the company on your age man almost the various vaccines are available for COVID, you know. Tonight per se and then no train in common. I swear BB cry free no ho. Ti Mark so we are ready I patcho na was sign afre back na ya twa yon common so. Ti me so se wo tie me na se wo assemble se bia. So wo me number text it to me and yes answer now call Facebook now hwehwe na ya nya ko a ubetimi enya me na we post it or question no abraham na me de ama Mark we dey outside of my comfort zone. I'm solely relying on his expertise. In fact, I personally think that me answer COVID and this must have been early last year, around January 2020 last year, because of things but you come back to Mark. Now me name will be share me experience and so. Hello.
Hello.
Mark Akwaba.
Yeah, in here.
Informed to say.
So I went in here before. You back in your team. Is your room?
Also I brought team your team.
Aye.
That's good. Mark, sending a make and it's a BB or Honasa or so did back, even though Mimbusa, please feel free and share for us. Why? Because in the per se you see a DP a free one chain.
Sure thing.
Me patcho vaccines no cheche mobile wakami and sana name me and sano. A more side effect and it says here kind of say pros and cons and so on. And I said, what is good for who? And to say be our that's your foul choice. I don't know so far because I know some countries, you know, almost offer options to people, and in some countries, you know, almost needs a option. No. So what have you got to say about that? Or being someone me question also me busa until kasaka krana me busa as a question and so.
Okay. To start off with, MRPharmS has been in the UK. There's 3 options available, which I have mentioned. Other countries would have their own options going. So, for example, the USA tends to use Johnson & Johnson. You see, so that's what they tend to use. But they keep their whole thing in house. The Russians have Sputnik. The Cubans have something else going on. The truth of the matter is, they all pretty much of a muchness in terms of what they do, in terms of their effect, because all of them require a minimum of 2 doses. Initial dose gives you about 80% protection. The second dose will top it up to about early to mid-90s. And that's about it for all of them. Now, in terms of side effects, the main side effect for AstraZeneca tends to be the risk of blood clots. Now, the problem is, like I said earlier on, it's difficult to know, say, a drone problem, a drone not talking about, now I say, well, as I know what problem or more than that, and a drone I hope is because some people, a lot of people have blood clotting disorders, but unless you actually carry out a blood test, you won't know. It is difficult to know. That said, Astra normally injected the majority of the over age cohorts. So the people from coming down from 100 years, coming all the way down to about 50 odd. And on Astra will be our warrior. Then Pfizer and over there, they're under 40s, and they will come down all the way down to the late teens and so on and so forth. Now Pfizer on one peculiar side effect, which is what we call myocarditis, which is an inflammatory disease of the heart, the muscle. In Nkrumah, they also develop that. Also, no, they don't know, say, a yariano, a grown up train yarn by yes, and now say yariano, so not war, I know, and check up after a grown up airport and go by. So they can't really tell. So it's all of these things are up in the air. Or Then you come to the problem of what we call statistical significance. Because if you look at the population of the United Kingdom is about 65, 66 million people. They've probably injected, for first dose, or my injected, I'd say about 50 million. But second dose, probably about 30 million. But now, say, the number of people who develop a blood clot after taking it, and you look at the percentage of those people as opposed to the entire cohort who have been vaccinated, and you realize that the figure is not statistically as significant as we see it. It's just that it has to be reported, so they will report it. But unfortunately, it would be any reaction survey or the better will be one and affect it one way or the other. These things, they happen. Then, we will come to another situation with which is something very close to my heart, because it's especially dependent on young black people. COVID, and how was a black person now, you are more likely to die than Obroni.
I didn't hear, Mark.
I honestly, and only they don't know. All they do know is that the number of cases of people who contract COVID who are black, the number of deaths in that cohort is higher than the number of deaths in the white cohort.
Me pacho, I shall say no more can say before you need enough vitamin D in our blood and also kahuntia. But it's also entirely sure. How far do you think that true that the lack of vitamin D in me that susceptible, if that's the word, to COVID and I say death or something from it?
And technically speaking, in the sense the main source of vitamin D is direct sunshine. And Nkrumah has said, we hardly ever get a lot of direct sunshine. Also, when there's on a day when it's very hot, they will tell you stay indoors or use high SPF skin sunscreen. Because of that, your vitamin D levels are almost all the time low. Now, what the research has shown us is that low levels of vitamin D has implications in so many different ways, all the way from your mood, all the way from your skin texture, all the way to your ability to resist disease and so on and so forth. So if you look, we need to say flu. The flu season almost all the time coincides with winter because at that material time, everybody's immune systems are low because there's not enough vitamin D in their system, and also because the sun sets at 3:30 or 4 o'clock or whatever. And I also know, almost said, lack of vitamin D can also be linked with depressive illness. In the Nordic countries, Finland, Norway, Sweden, a lot of people their suicide rates are sky high, especially during their long winters or more. I would say there's a possibility, but there's a quantitative link. Yes. On the flip side of it, a country like Ghana, we have sunshine all year round, but we also still have COVID tests. So therefore, I would say it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, or more.
Me pacho Mark, who says your bema nasa COVID or nasa why we are sure the phone from your personal experience, na no more side I do be an sign back to normal. But Obebu said for men, so munya job now, whichever one it is, it was side effects be on them or now.
No, like I said, the main side effects for both of them are the ones I've listed. But what we do get is a lot of people complain of pain at the injection site. That, unfortunately, is due to the fact that the needle ball, I don't know why, but needle ball is a big gauge needle And sometimes the phone be on how on job now, on very on technique there. But
my omodi panier one casano.
I almost technique here for mine because under the auspices of the NHS, the person who injects you, has to have carried out the relevant training, but they don't necessarily need to be a professional to do it. It is some places we are going to you know, on your nurse, on your pharmacist, on your doctor. And if I come on this, I should know any who did this thing.
To say why when you're COVID in Ibidano. Yeah, actually no, mommy rephrasing my question. Onya be answer na wo vaccine no.
Yes.
How likely is it that obetimi assign any bill?
Also, you discuss it with initially you discuss the structure of the virus. So what you basically do is you put a crown, what you call a corona. Crown consists of spikes of protein, and it's the combination of the spikes of protein that gives the virus its antigenic activity. Now, virus will mutate, so it always mutates. Every sort of variant. It is a when you have a virus, not that you have what we call residual immunity, but it will not be for about weeks in your field. It's a bit like you live in Ghana, you have malaria, you have residual immunity. So if a white man and you go to the bush and both of you get bitten, both of you get malaria, you will have it, but he will die of it. That's how it is.
I see. There is an interval. I'm recommend so when your first jab now. Now I say our second one. Maybe what?
Yes.
What's the recommended? What's the minimum interval and what's the absolute maximum?
The absolute maximum is 12 weeks. The minimum can be anything up to 4 weeks.
Okay, because I had my first one on 12th May. And I had to book the second one at the same time as booking the first one. And that's on, I think, either 21st or 28th July. I need to double check. But on my trauma, say I can have it earlier than that. I didn't know if I can say it may have a warning time before the date now. Yeah, picking.
Also, the minimum separation date for doses is 4 weeks. So any time after 4 weeks, maybe they would want to give it to you. And the reason why they're doing that is because variants, the variants are due to the virus mutation. It was an initial time now war, now it was a standard virus. So say the mutation the Delta variant, which came from India, the Indian variant. Into what they are thinking is that at the moment you have an 80% protection. They will prefer the protection to be closer to the 90, which is why you have the top of those.
Obinswa text here about say NSS how do we even know says your cycle was second one say a Delta variant, Fufo say Indian variant, Fufo be and sign mama mekase. Yes, cycle one will be before because I've heard of a third dosage, maybe.
But your question and say there will be a booster dose during the flu season, and normally flu season tends to start September time. There will be a third dose, a booster dose, yes. And maybe we will not get away from it because at the end we know more. So I don't know how to put it, but it's so mutagenic. It makes a stand a structure at any time. That's why they will keep on being variants, and we will keep on jabbing. It will be that at some point it will become just like the flu. Then you have flu, or you throw yourself on a walk flu vaccine every season.
Okay, me pachosa we're joining here. My name is Mr. Marc Baffoe-Boney, member of the Royal Pharmaceutical Society at the United Kingdom, and I our experience here in the healthcare sector, but in Nadia per se focusing solely, if we can, on coronavirus, vaccines now available to us. It is a question being asked per se with Mark on your behalf. Please don't hesitate, cry away. In our post Mark, your question be our set the mountain me patch my main kind show. Kwejo Fojo, thank you for watching us. Or see Nanaya, I took the first jab on 18th April and till date I have not been able to take the second dose. Can I still take it after almost 3 months? Mark, a question to you.
Yes, so the maximum period is 12 weeks. So if he had it on the 18th of April, he's got May, June, so he is probably due about the 10th or so of July. So he should take it, yeah.
Okay, obviously if he doesn't get the opportunity to take it as a 12 weeks Nepahwa, do we know what will happen in that case, Mark?
Still, I would recommend that on your way, because there are so many sites which are available to give it, from pharmacy-run sites to GP-run sites, even through to walk-in clinics and so on and so forth. All he has to do is check online for somewhere close enough for him. There will be a place offering it. There always is a place offering it now. To say here, because the government thinking is that they would want to actually remove most of the restrictions on gatherings and so on and so forth. About towards the middle or the third or fourth week of July. So, in order to do that, we need to make sure that the majority of the population have been vaccinated into
I think for a country obviously in the West they're different, but so Africa now or Ghana specifically conditions might be different. So maybe that's why a bit me affected some people's chances of having it within the given time frame. And I'm a Mark.
It depends. Because to the best of my knowledge, there is a scheme, Western government-backed scheme called COVAX, where developing countries now won't have any access to vaccines. No? They actually gift them the vaccine to kind of so Ghana's vaccine program was a gift from the COVAX. We were the first country in Africa to get consignments on the vaccine. The reason being that because we had prepared the storage and so on and the distribution supply chain for the whole thing in Ghana by then. So we were the first country to receive it. Now what they've done is, wow, you know, first one, they show time. I saw the second one. They won't give you one and then you won't come and then get the other one. So they will contact you and then, or you contact them or whatever. They will make sure that why when you have to reach out. The only problem, and also something very close to my heart, is that we in Africa and particularly Ghana, we are always going in the process of begging for these things, whereas we don't want to do the hard work associated with getting these things. And therein lies the issue. Because if you cast your mind back some years ago, and the WHO wanted to set up a testing facility for the Ebola virus vaccine in Ghana. Ghanaians kicked up a fuss, Parliament kicked up a fuss. I recall very well that the current CEO of Ghana Standards Board, who's also a practicing pharmacist, who's also a PhD, a full professor, and he also happens to be my brother-in-law. He actually told Parliament that to speak like they are speaking is ignorant. Parliament dropped everything they were doing and summoned my brother-in-law and forced him to apologize.
Oh, seriously?
Yes. So what ends up happening is that this type of research will be carried out, but there will be no input from Ghanaians. There will be no testing carried out on Ghanaians. So therefore, when the vaccine is produced, the Western government are thinking no contribution, no trouble. And then when they actually give us the vaccine as well, we don't know anything about any possible side effects on black people or black sub-Saharan people. We don't, because we didn't participate in a clinical trial. And the reason why we didn't participate in clinical trials is because we weren't in at the very beginning. It was a global from the pharmaceutical point of view, a global what we get testing in something be affected Bruni and something be affected Asian, and something is affected blackface. And we have to make sure we are involved in these things from the very start. But if not, no, fine, I'm your mind. Number one, because one no black sub-Saharan African subject took part in the testing
trials, yeah.
Then we will then discover say idea we and I say by the time it's too late.
Hey, Asamo, I'm saying you've hit the nail right on the head there, because almost say I am not before the clinical trials. Nasi, I invite you to take part. Per se, you know, I know you may not have this for a fact, but what do you think are some of the things in the Emma before the per se involved in that? No.
Well, speaking from a personal point of view and from observation, so this one is not backed by any statistics or anything, but from personal observation. Black people tend to mistrust anything that the governments do. They tend to mistrust things that a white man does because therefore, say, excuse me to say, to me come, menana,
oh, my ancestors, I mean, nanum.
Ancestors, I mean, nanum, nine and the same person, it makes you slightly suspicious. You would look at look, common drug wise, right? I'll give you a typical example. There's a certain type of group of drugs that are from ACE inhibitors, and those are used to deal with blood pressure. Okay. The only problem is ACE inhibitors. No, we need to now for you more. Nipatuntum and affect to be as a little nipatuntum. And you can tell now more research for ACE inhibitors. No, to say listen or proceed. And I can nipatuntum no mocha course no water or no ACE. They might have treated drug molecule and to remove that particular side effect, but because they didn't know, they say we because to now for no one.
Wow. Mark, question biaba mami and to my one sanafe into us I feel Mr. Christmas esponde hona eba or see eba mami or see please Nana Nyako, I saw a video in on social media of a gentleman who touched a filament bulb at the point of vaccination on the skin. Surprisingly, the bulb ignited. Could this incident be true or real? Mark? And only due to all the conspiracy theories since I fly about. So maybe you can cover that. You know, you see, so all vaccine and that's all the magnet at a spot why not a check out skin on. And I did see some videos that shows that obviously I mean who said yeah, they are warm and they attach it straight away. But I went and got a fridge magnet to touch on the spot I may warm median and BBC ANC. Mark, what do you mean saying?
Okay, me more problems with no. The problem is that generally social media very helpful in a sense you are able to disseminate information, you're able to disseminate all sorts of things. I mean literally you can do, amuse yourself and entertainment, that sort of thing. The only problem is normally we are not be what situation so it may be far. And one of these is this idea about the government injecting you with 5G so they can track you and so on and so forth. All of that, I'm afraid it's an end of prayer. I'm personally drawn up. I said I work for a group of pharmacists called Touchwood Pharmacy. I'm a group pharmacy manager. I've worked in the vaccination clinic. I was working there yesterday, and I can assure you, there's nothing metallic in the vaccine. It is purely a dilute solution of ribonucleic acid of the SARS-CoV-2. and it's basically designed to stimulate your immune system into a state of alertness so that if you do come into contact with somebody or a situation where the vaccine is there, the virus is not there, even if it gets into your body, you'll be able to fight it off more effective. But that said, no, because social media, there's a lot of, shall we say, a lot of conspiracy theories going around with this and that and the other and all that sort of thing. No, the ones about what can happen to you once you've injected would be possible side effects, and that, I'm afraid, is it. No more, no less.
And the side effects need you're exhausted in him because obia to me reacted to it differently. So what if with all of these no be kase and your own work, what would be your advice to them? Because they think that it's better to be safe than sorry. See a better panel now in himself, obey my bed you and as a bay you might and your bed or better hana wabo games and a COVID that channel. What do you know saying?
The problem no yet. It's a COVID next show dear. And me we need insurance because I have been through it. And believe me to be your stream. It is not something that I wish on my worst end. But, excuse me to say, we are there, now, you are even too weak. What you are even too weak to bend over to begin. Because when you say, maybe you fall flat on your face. Forget. They say, you'll be me idea how they call what on yellow. Trust me. Because the alternative has been thinking about. I mean, the road, I can what we know who said. And know your first one. The second one, a minor sort of from India, you find out wisdom. They are going to link your vaccination or otherwise to a lot of things. For example, to travel on holiday. If you're unable to show proof that you've been vaccinated twice now, there are some countries who will not even allow you to travel and deboard there. Even though you are showing a negative PCR test, they won't allow you to enter. I've seen a few adverts. If you look at, we are in the holiday season, package holidays now, yes, you are all protected, proof of vaccination. We are read the fine print, it's there. If you at some point at some point you want to go to watch a program, they'll have to see that. And so and the government is smart about it. They are not going to force you. They will let the travel companies and other do the dirty work for them. If you at some point, one by one.
I'm so West today. I was be a horse in me your business for New York. I'm traveling to a country, you have to have the vaccine because I think was it last week or the week before? You can NHS has sent the email sir. Me apply for COVID passport. I don't know, Mark, what about COVID passport and ask them?
Martin, and I can't say these guys are cute. The COVID passport now. There will be an argument about it infringing civil liberty. So you don't have to, if you apply for one, it's discriminatory against those who have not been jabbed, etc., etc. But already, there's an NHS app. And in the NHS app, is your complete record of medications. And in there's a bit about whether you've been vaccinated or not. It's all in there. If you are going to travel, that is they will want to see that application.
Mark, Juma we no more of vaccine na man for more Japan for ASR.
Yes.
Ethnicity no say the kohwa. He for pa na e won kese.
Well, me was Juma no a pop-up site or Sydenham, which is in southeast London. And the ethnicity there is on the right-hand side of Vietnam is mostly black, and on the left-hand side would be mostly white. And I would say it's because we're part of the screening questions. You have to clinically screen them to find out, where the ethnicity, etc. the majority of the black people that jab no are not black African. They are mostly from the Caribbean. And that is the reason why I was happy that you would have me on the program today, because it is vitally necessary that Ghanaians, Nigerians, we grasp the necessity of having the vaccine, at least the first two. Even if, we'll say, 7, 1 year, 10, 1, the booster, also 1 year, only get 2, no, I want to see so now I can embarrass it.
Now, Mark, I sansana mubeja bi no muye medical assessment ansana because obi the question about Walanyo Akwetia. He's finding it very frustrating listening and watching us from Ghana because network and the other things, and my streaming and man low quality. But the question odi ban is I say ask him if your BP, your blood pressure status is 160/90. Are you free to take the job? And as I say, I don't know some yes medical assessment and as and if so, which one in this case, appropriate?
We do a medical assessment, yes. It's called a pre-vaccination screening. So it's like an algorithm where we look at your age, your sex, your all the bits and pieces. The sex bit being important in the sense that at the moment the cohort we are under 40s. And you need to find out whether the lady is pregnant or trying for a baby. That's the reason why we go down that route. In terms of blood pressure, it is not really a relevant sort of thing to stop the person from having it. So we will ask the question, and then we also find out if they are on any regular medications as well. And then, if possible, if we're not too sure, we will even take their blood pressure then, and just whatever. But elevated blood pressure is not the reason to be refused a vaccination. No.
Okay, because 160/90, definitely back or higher, saying. Because that's the one that's supposed to be between 110 and 120, without me being medically, because I'm your high blood pressure. So, elevated, like you rightly said, there's no any reason I'm going to refuse the OB vaccine. No, Cesar.
That won't be a reason at all. We would definitely offer the vaccination to the person.
Okay, Mark, now you say vaccine, no? Nancy and a bad news to say, who says I will mix here, I say first, to say, you say me, my own Pfizer back. The next one, I'm expecting say Pfizer, no, they remind me. But almost see, who says I will mix vaccines now, more effective. What have you got to say about that? Say, yeah, my own Pfizer, because I say, my Astra, and I say Moderna, no. Any thoughts or reflections on that one, no?
Like I said, this thing is a dynamic situation. So we're finding out more and more as we go along. The initial thinking was, yes, you have one vaccine of a particular meat. You have to have your booster on the same meat. And you don't know what that was the initial, shall we say, thinking. That said, new research is showing signs that you can have any vaccine as long as you have two. And as an added bonus, the immune system seems to be a bit more active with a mixed bag than with standard. So I would say if you want to have your booster and you've had maybe Pfizer, you can't find any place that maybe Pfizer within your catchment, by all means take the Astra. It will work for you. Yeah. And it is a lot better than not having it, you see.
Okay, Mark, I'm saying, come on, I'm just trying to see, sir. Should we take about 10 minutes break, Mark? Name yourself for the questions, bye. Now, Mr. Watch in 5 minutes time. Now I say dialing. That questions I wanna. Yeah, the amount that for wrap it up. Why?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, only 5 minutes.
Mate, that Mark, can you buy now, pair? Whilst I will take a break. The name he say, "Benya na ya boamo."
I'll be honest with you. I've always liked, ever since I've always liked any type of jazz.
And you buy man too?
Any type of jazz.
Oh, jazz, mom. That's just all the call a different genre, me boy. Okay, Mate, any quite my bebo jazz be ama why? All right. But in 5-10 minutes time, you best I expect your call.
Okay, I'll give a call then.
Thank you, sir.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. For Nanaya Nyakona was so eguswa with him and Neddy and Ampese dear Addison dear de Marc Baffoe-Boney Abaline so say on my me educated and that you we we're in the valley of decision about COVID, you know. You buy you see about me no pet back whom you know I say the me sabi say about a kahon you see a booster. Ndra na mini obi kwa kasa o si ya tro ni say ni booster no I ready nti omra magic. The obi say na me ko one year say abeka chem say there is a fourth one and this and that and it's saying you know Mark is a professional, a true professional, and Ndra ka no mu jabe for and you know if there were questions be na concerns or queries be a Mr. Wad. Ayo, Bisa K Day, or say brother.
Number one champion. Africa's best station. Yo, Rainbow Radio. Africa's best station. Hey, yo, non-stop music, we are flow. Shot and Baffoe says so. I don't know.
Yeah, COVID was there, but Ndra England football they did extremely well. Well done to the players. They did super well. In fact, the previous match, you know, the Pamachamami Musami country quite England and your boy, but Sterling scored a goal. And there was a bit of a thing in the papers, you know, like is it Kane more to the front page of the newspapers, and then Sterling, he wasn't, and then people were like, oh, he's a racist country now. He took not also score goal, because we had 2 goals, only they am financial. But regardless, in draw, they did really well. Although Sterling didn't score, or supply goals, and they did justice. Into 4-0 to Ukraine, to England, against Ukraine was brilliant. Obi said we needed some good news in the country for a change because COVID, caused havoc. Bebree wɔ country no bebree wo ebi ejuma say ebi mo so affect you in different ways. So yeah, it was great to hear all about football. And then we went to Ghana a bit, and then I saw and Opeo Sendra more published one of the secondary schools, Delta variant, so Edru ho. Internet, so now we were thinking, whoa, what does this mean for them? So because India for buy come home almost na vaccine I say a chassis and no more yanka. They were supplying some parts of the world. To Yatini be brain, they said, well, be joining me. I'm happy. So when you're quite know I'm joining because people like Mark, they don't come too often. I'm happy. So we've got him. A Mark with a C. In terms of Mark, near spelling M-A-R-B said K-B said C, but Mr. Baffoe-Boney Mark is a Mark with a C. So thank you very, very much. And I hope well with you, whether watching me live on Facebook or listening to me on other platforms, Nanaya Nyako Midawasi. So what question, please, this is the time to bring it forward. Send your beya, Mark, I share so I explaining in my and check and I wrap it up with him Nafi. Yatwa Jumedin. What questions have you got? Have you had your vaccine? What I want to ask him is this, is it Covax? And I said that's the word. I say Covax, I'll be big kakra about it. Into Mark, I want to know more about Covax. What does it mean? To say a brochure, actually share the pepper, if you 100, they are sure, say, bookie appointment, and I be what vaccine. Yes, I be dear, your 40s, And then now, no more in their 20s, they're offering them. But how does it work in Africa? Obey day na when you be our fear and they are frozen. Bra, Mr. Chris Mo responded. I know you're watching me, Mr. Mami Krawai about Ghana. How does it work? So how do people get offered the vaccine? So what question should be everyone now what and ask say now is it free or do you have to pay for it? Those are some of the things that I personally want to know and explore. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you.
Maybo Bisake brother, the closest I could get to jazz.
Yeah, that's fine. I like that guy too. He's really, really, really good.
Oh, okay, excellent. What other songs of his do you like?
The Ghana the Ghana new wave of Ghanaian musicians, it can be extremely talented, like him, like Sarkodie, like Stoneboy, that kind of guys. Not very, very, very good. You listen to them and you're thinking, these guys are talented. It's very, 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 very skilled with what they do.
Oh, actually, that takes me off track a bit. In the week, this man, you see in the 80s, and now, the best dancer or something, he died. I don't know if you heard about him. I think so. Almost those times the actors are in Nipa, but there was a video of him. I said that with you see where he was only 50 years. I don't know if you heard that last week.
I know who the guy is actually. He was a champion dancer in those days, when Nipa sees one, because those times that they had a lot of dancing competitions and stuff. They used to call it the Great Embassy Double B. And he was a champion then. And there's a guy called Ajit and they were like rivals. And today this guy will bring out the move, the following day this guy will bring out the move. It was brilliant. But I'm saying,
I'm sorry, Alex Ofori. He was only 50 years. That he became an alcoholic or something towards the end,
That's what happened.
It's quite sad because I'm thinking here, let's talk about COVAX. You touched on it earlier on, no, but Mark, how are African countries, especially Ghana, utilize this how we say, are they calling people and offering them the opportunity to come for the jab, or do people just have to proactively go to a center to book? If you have any knowledge on it, if you don't, tell me. And I said, how is it all being offered? And I said, I mean, MP way to them through our connection or is it available to everyone? How inclusive is this whole thing, and what is COVAX about, please?
Okay, to start off with COVAX, so it's like a system where various countries donate spare vaccines into a central sort of holding, and then they distribute them to countries who have. These countries have the capability to store and to distribute and administer the vaccine. And for whatever reason, most of the time, it looks like Ghana's way of managing the COVID was one of the better ones. And they also had the infrastructure in place to store the donations of the vaccines. And also the supply chain was available to distribute them to the various centers who would then administer the vaccinations to people. As to how Ghana arranged the cohorts, I really can't comment on that, but I do happen to know that like they've jumped all, and they've used all the stock up. But as to whether it was a case of being friend, that sort of thing, no. You know how the Ghanaian system works. It's possible that that's exactly how it happened. But I hear that they had a stratification whereby the healthcare workers were offered as well as the security people, and then the usual, the parliamentarians as well. So
I guess that would be in their eyes key workers, maybe.
Yes.
And if the freely donated vaccines run it out, then the country would have to purchase its own stock, maybe.
Yeah, they will have to purchase on the open market. And in fact, they did try. One of my colleagues is a pharmacist, same as myself, but he's more heavily into public health. He's a guy called Kwame. We actually went to primary school together, so I've known him for those years. He was looking at the deal that the deal that the government of Ghana cut, where they were trying to get dosages of vaccine. The middleman they used took such a massive, I don't know whether it's a cut or turbo or whatever it is, that they were basically selling us something at over and above the normal price. But that is what tends to happen when you refuse to take part in, the developmental stage of the vaccine. So now it's come to the consumption stage, and they basically have you by the balls. There's not very much we can do. Well, this is a ton of somebody.
Hey Mark, may I two comment and pessimist share? Mr. Chris Moore responded, thank you. He's watching as I think Takra, I didn't know what Ghana. I'll see. Please, I'm yet to get the job, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure you pay any money before receiving it. So that's one. And then Kwejo Fojo said, Nana, in Ghana, the vaccination was free, but most people didn't take the vaccine because of their superstitious belief. Where I took my vaccine, out of expected people of about 2,000, less than 500 people took it. And based on what we've heard in the Mark, or see a free or Ghana, what do you think? And any thoughts on what we've read?
The COVAX is a free thing, it's a donation. The government of Ghana distributing and administering it, that was the only cost to the government of Ghana. It's basically free for anybody who wants it. But as to how they arrange itself, who will be jabbed first or not, so in the interest.
Okay, in terms of Mark, this is as far as we can go on vaccine. Is there anything or additional information from your line of work with your professional expertise and a very useful set? Your listeners now, as I saying, y'all bet to me their mind.
But I'm going to say we take time off my busy schedule. On a Sunday, I'm not sorry. I go to you myself. And I'm up a fee. I said, we'll be in your mom back to tomorrow. No more take radio when I'm waiting to be a massive break. Thank you very much for listening. What I would say is, in spite of all the suspicions and the superstitions and all the social media, conspiracy theories, yeah, they're not best. So, yeah, we are from some. Maybe number one because the Guyana is a more county. Maybe I'll be done. And should I know this? Also, what I would say is if you have a question or a query on anything of that sort, and you can't get through to your doctor, just walk into your local pharmacy, ask to speak to the pharmacist. We're always available. We will be happy to share whatever knowledge we have with you. And also, most importantly, share by WhatsApp so if you have any queries on that and also beside, we'll be happy to throw more light on the issue for you. And lastly, Nanaya, thank you very much for having us on Rainbow Radio. It's been a lovely experience, and I wish you and I wish all your listeners the very best of the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very, very much also, Mark, for accepting the call to come and share your knowledge with my listeners. But before I let you off, can you tell me what your worst bits about being a pharmacist have been, if any, and what your highlights of being a pharmacist are, please? Just in case of being Jenny said, I really want to pursue pharmacy as a career. I just want to see, we don't want to scare people, but we want to just see you being realistic, being authentic. Tell me more about this career and profession, please, sir.
Okay, what I would say is the worst bit of being a pharmacist is the studying to become a pharmacist. Chemistry. So chemistry, yeah, or better result. So as long as you like chemistry, then all things are open to you. It's an interesting job, very, very interesting. It's an interesting profession. You get to meet different people, different times, different days. There are so many aspects of the job. I have worked in the community. I still work in the community. I have worked in the laboratory. I have also worked in the hospital. And I've also done a spot of lecturing. So there's 1,001 things you can do. There's also industry. And industry, because of COVID-19, I'll say industry for us also know. They are paying very well. You can always go in there and work in the industry if you wish. And all the way through, it's a very respected and respectable profession. It will always put food on the table and put a roof over your head. So it's something that I've never regretted doing. And I'm happy as I am.
Now, so we need you, Mahonswa. Does it attract women to you or something? I have to ask, playing the devil's advocate here, Mark. Sorry, Kasawami.
Yeah, because what happens is when you go into work, it's your professional hat you have on.
Yeah.
The person who comes into you is a patient. It is not a possible my dear. So when we are looking at you that way, it's the same thing with my university roommate is an obstetrician and a gynecologist. He used to be here in the Dundee Royal Infirmary, and he's now in Canada. And he's an obstetric, a gyne guy, and he will tell you the same thing. Doctor, if you are, he doesn't see you as a sexual being. He sees you as a patient. So in terms of a man, I don't really see it that way. That said, no, me also any ethnic address.
And that's very good. And one can worst bit. Actually, yeah, you did say the worst bit is studying for the qualification itself, because say if you don't like chemistry, yeah, then that wouldn't be for you, maybe.
Yes, that wouldn't be for you. Yeah.
Now, oh, sorry, I think I'm going back. Just the very absolute last question. You talked about jabbing people. Does it come with the trade as a pharmacist, or is it something extra you picked along?
Oh, when I first qualified some 20-something years ago, we were basically just, all we did was dispensing and counseling. Now, most pharmacists do tend to carry out the job. In fact, I'd say it's the majority of pharmacies in the UK help to deliver the flu vaccination program for the NHS. So it's a case of you pick up these things as you go along, and then you learn, and then you broaden your horizons and improve your professional satisfaction, I guess. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Why on this note in the middle, only we're boosting us, especially when you really saw the one family, because you said we need, and so Emma, very another educator, Mark.
But that's very brave for having me. Anytime at all, you're most welcome.
Marty, I on a different occasion, you ever cast out about relationships, because I know you're very knowledgeable. So, for now, Nadia, thank you very much, and take care. And in your jazz viewer, ever saying,
Definitely. Bless. Easy.
Okay, bye-bye. HF4, that was Mark.
Oh my God, I love Rainbow Radio. Many colors, many voices, one God, one station.
HF4, that was Marc Baffoe-Boney. Why are there pie panty? Mr. Why say, hey, Pia, now we'll catch it up on the video later. And I thought, oh, now come your question. Do not hesitate to post to her. You're very late to Mark. Or my answer, and I assign and so Eddie Abreu. If you say, I do need any back for trim. I hope someone and near my pee, a fee at the end of the near me, your fee, or see. The risk of not having the vaccine, worse. I mean, worse, far worse than say aqua vaccine, because a mild some protection. On the other hand, everybody has could react to it differently. To me, concern and I Pfizer, then saying a year into the ABA, Mark and so saying a bayano. But you just have to go for it and hope so obey it. Okay. The other thing so I'm saying is I'll say as a man no when on nunya vaccine nibino affecting ni bibia ni balls ni sure phone ye chese original no here one friend no coming up they can size no and yet the same, but it took him some time and sana we say realize I mean, ever back to normal. So when you're COVID done, and our experience of COVID, how was it, and what advice now Pesa Odima will be when it comes to these things. Muma Inti and Yum Binasa is here. I will come back and continue. Whilst I'm getting the new ready, I don't know, sir. When you so Ghana with regards to a soldier for now, or Mode and Rano Asha, some now Modi and young person. Debbie, I know you're watching me. I see you. Ubusa crashing this or your pharmacist and my pen and as I had to ask him. Oh, my big woman is me. I call me, but I'm in fire. Hello.
Hello, about Kwame,
Kwame, you want? The special voice from Denmark. Kwame down where dear na yanyon to drink come up.
Kwame who say champion pone say president MRPharmS na make say man say here me timo je la na me fan for your man dey why. I guess I me tumi ho ade so. Tumi ho ade so so ma mo wuro. Obi en defend mo be tu ba den yamo. Okay.
Kwame ye jo so ene onchi ahwen akwaba mpeni for say enim say bisa ha de bra wona wonam.
Bibia boko eja say ene kwesi what na say nti wo say yan so eja kakra bi aye si betumi no ya de beta ho na ya cheche busiafo especially Ghana Tina when I'm there radio bro.
Ayo Kwame mabin koi na COVID no wa wo pani ani bi me musa osa
The young mo bi but many me mo Kwame di dia da pe na se ko ni di suru mi o se so na na suru no. I tried by only 2 days, really bad, only 2 days. That's all. I'm okay till now. What?
Kwame na wo show am phone.
My show.
Oh, and Kwame me bin yo na yem MRPharmS ever phone am.
Rather can you there such as a effect the hours at that side, you know. And you have the pa, the yachi say, I'm the cat, a boo Jericho first you.
See, are you serious? A bit Kwame, yeah, because I remember said last year January, because now October, November, not menya flu that, you know, the standard flu. After the January, so very late January. I remember said 27th was the peak of it. I just said because Salon be the Friday before. I actually I mean manya sore throat. I bubu na joint in yo ya oh me call bathroom ka was set. Me so walls man sana media ko but e mean name sending that it me affected bibia na obviously me nishwan in man dream one ko hosa but it's quite scary to think say to me yeah it was a potential you know effect or side effect you know what do you know saying Kwame?
Yeah, I'm minimum 2 days now make along. Some me hoya me ya na get me ya my young red. Now the kata me ni anamada. The talk anamada which me da almost 14 hours. I'm a team any plan in you. Yeah, my young say I didn't go beyond for the yellow. But we won't make the say I make brand Baffoe community is on a board or no more need a board of the clear or
oh, we're free mo and yes all cockeke like basically it's passed away me boy. Send almost all underlying underlying conditions be a nine yes sir.
Yeah, now as well some lungs effects problems on the lungs so can I hear and China Amano Chimela just said I know Kaya is about we are and TMC will be an India depend here. I mean one year particularly here I hope you can know sexually, you know. I think we are still active. Maybe we are on armed force. Yeah. It's okay. But we are also vegetarian, so I might additional was saying, I did fear more for Wakasa, we won't be a man, say, you look back to the they are doing to make a panel. No, yeah, but the second situation where the amount for the brass, you know, I come on before me. You're not going to get a someone war. If you are said you should say, which gamma, that can perform, and after what is an argument, I'm an hour for the other. We are because we are there, we are there. As I am saying, in Rodi and the Abitants, where the ocean sentence are a bit to me, and you say, you will be pattern, there's a move I could do here. They say, you're okay, and after we are phobia, and you're okay. You know, if I be break, can't know the one somebody, I say, who get the social media, and you like, and but send your way, I can tell you, what would you do? Now, what you be told? On the American.
Ayo, Kwame, and yeah, that's a pint to Sunya Quayana, Waka, Mr. Mabio and Chuan Sana, Sabi, near Marco phone, because if you are down there, they are going to affect the other things, maybe. Also, oh, young woman, you know me, you. Yeah, take I mean, I was saying that.
Let me come in here.
I will be at the ever, yes, sir. Kwame, asam bin so ehye me so any sa military for na omoye mamuna omode o minor bob bona I taxpayers money na echi omoka but omotimi ye niema atantane bi a enso ani a video bi a me hone na watch ne na chese em say wow say back mobile phone na ira na omama nkofo butu gat smart chese ye discipline omo bi na say na what are your thoughts?
Video na obaya ukai se maybe so the be ko wari a on ko take over obwasi bibi salo some months ago
I know Mr. Jama girl be 419 or kako wari obi foforo ana ai omo mpesa ai violence be hot so we kai say they did joke say violence no I think I know na wo kan oboase awari ebi no
very good at all and on America na ya Ghana for especially that your radio show you see what for a soldier for abaso no me kwa go share ta bempon me ne wo nya geleta and to me maka me nfa waduma me nta ma de show me nta one show and now baby na what me sa me so where from this thing I didn't know what about now what your radio what your nobody family me am in the Bakuya. Oh, and the soldier you back up power of the year. Such as one, they are nothing but just human beings as we are. You can't afford your social that was for a free cell. Now, rather than some one, I'm sure that you to grow and will bring you back will be a challenge, you know. So, there was that mentality. The soldier wanted to be trained, you pursue one yet. Oh, I got to see, and I could do one water. And you walk out for a year. And you will be able to see the old. The Ghana needs to take a new one and was in a hot. Oh, Ghana. Me, who don't Ghana back at them, maintain social gain. I will be, I might have enough for what to yet enough to Musa. I'm running there and go one by another side. Benjamin, who
na me Kwame hu so bi de ne car bo bi amana wo Ghana maya jele na chedodo ko prison na here for nko ani go sikani bi ani wa me hu no prison da wa hu sikani bi o Ghana prison da na e bi me na me nim Kwame
Daddy, I want to be a prison again, so you were going to that just say, not another joke of the face, what you are doing in maybe I saw that for Ghana for 10 years, you see, as you saw one also. And yet, when you're not, you're also that follow, who is saying, I didn't know about home. What you manage and to or maybe to put the Canana. And I will walk your home. Just a while, matter of way. And some would be so what they got to know about washing. Some of them more debt. That is saying, who are the one? That's any phones one for sharing. Then a phone me and your wheel. Now, a soldier for your one was about to. Every soldier for you, they are nothing but human beings. I agree that one Muslim would be. I was a woman who said no. Maybe I said, "Obey no fuck when you try to watch a general." And yet, that's what they need to have for free. When we are buy out my young fan come and give you, I'm in the car. Then you want to then you want to say, the Ghana brand, and what was the so that you bomb? That's your Yanisha. Yamra Mekaya, and my United because me, I'm Musi. Samin and one so that you be. Minya when you be that's what in the fine. I know the one you are that kind of.
Now, what's the when the Ovecano? Ovecani him. The reason why we put on this said, okay, show any yeah, but I'm on a serious note, no. Open our own friend, ni colleagues, I'm on when you know, my boo. Because that's the problem I made me war with Africa. And it's like, Emra ain't ye Jumaho. One who say, you can have me names, I'll follow your names, sir. Matt Hancock, yeah, your health secretary, or no COVID by our Shisham Ramai and Sam. And Concord, Srao, ma'am, it's only Muntifie Bakuma. You have to keep away social distance and any man. Obi on in the age, more ni funny say, ni Ada on one appointing, no, senators on any show. Minim so ya in his office, no, there was a camera there, you know, all village in another in Sammy and one grabbing it, no, senators a camera not picking up. Yeah, you need, well, yeah, you need it, but on one had to resign because the evidence was clear that the press covered everything. So, but when no ain't see what Ghana, and is it kind of power or somebody, you know, security, whatever, now, or culture pajamas did done it in the honor. Sister Logos who opposed to me, I brochure I'll be resigning one time. Why do you think, say, to me, age must our chrome her Westerner, now into me, age my Africa?
That kind of problem, they say you saw resign and an apple said they oh my no on now and what happened. They give you no so I am said and I am private too much because one will be the head in the other the bar on thing. And Timon so smear crack a club, but still I don't also see from Ghana, who boss. I abuse you. Wouldn't be cat. Police wouldn't be cat. And then the other private Ghana police. I didn't show their phone now. Especially police now, and let me a cat as a year walk a crap. Ghana police, they took two now. Now what work in Libano? So, what we put that when you're armed, I am just a police in Rano. And just shoot to the Kuno.
Taizano or something. Or we'll put shooting a guy in Naya and ask any part to be by young shooting the punk because we are policemen.
Police. I am not to your own. Oh, and the Ghana police in the Bekumo, so that the Bekumo. Why you come with Palo? After who can a train and a year Casaho and you say, you're cool with Palo. Ghana police is running soldier for, especially soldier for the carrying baby group. That's a woman woman guy. Now, yet they have a the Ghana for the soldier for one now next year. Well, you know what the woman. I think I'm going to go. If you make chat there, if you make a year from West, Buddha, I saw what did he, and you see, I saw what the man, when I asked him, you know. Obi for one, I want to check a brand new one for the apostle. Not check a woman for the apostle. And I'm phone to bring him. Who find you? And to get to come over, or the atmosphere. Maybe you won't grab I can't think fast. That's the woman is saying. What group of 4 3? And I always say, yes, you should. Yes, you should. when was I a 2 or they have one court, near one court. Now, I would have to make a temple who done a California so sample.
Someone a man for now, some feel safe, no. Almost so they feel is it not threatened, or they're being abused by these police way no more way, no, they're abusing the powers now. Yeah, the mom saying come far more a man for who by not just say galam safe for yen your bay. Yeah, Juman Casa why was so more, but no, and yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, I know there one yet. I think I've done a police in a pound, 50 pesos per hour that day. 1 year, I'm very sure while we are more to make a crack yet. But China woman and one man, so what can I say? Can I police one more catch one? The kind of a man or man and a catch you. That's a woman catch you. Maybe the other job was all the other. Did you mean I'm not what I am to cry every and there was a police work. Chester police almost see barrier. Afroswa 9:30 one more phone. But the barrier was what was this? Then check it out. Obi the money be go. Would you want to use yes? And it's a car 100 and become more than 5,522 no more, no more drunk. I don't know and one woman. I hear some politicians and one to one part of play. Such as will play one with police, judges, lawyers. One was uncle for women in our software in our account.
Auntie Kwame Abayden and Sakrayabam, how do you think all of these things can change for the better?
Maybe I mean you know soldier near yes you are who be not to prison that. Some rabbi it to me a soldier for who I know who free one my own room brother. Naya was to follow so the liver say yes about that. Sayabia and yet, then you wouldn't wear war. Such a genuine one, yet what so be our one say abuse you. Put to me the local court. Now, one look around a young man training, special training, someone on money for whom I was this highly training about the Tia of our videos. And was saying, your man, a switch here, and you don't. One year, we don't have a war. Police in you, not free. Can give your dear, why police need to meet that one is up and go. My God,
Kwame when he can. Mammy Fabi be my bomb kakra. So last week in I see 30th June, Nanny Nancy, International Day of Parliamentarism, United Nations for the bio. Now more in say in Parliament as a whole, Nayana in Kokra for in penny for doors into I'm so more focused in encouraging our youth and participating in parliamentary affairs and so kakra. I'm quite curious to find out your thoughts about, say, do you agree, sir, politics, parliament, whatever government, and I am in Cochrane, Dawson saying right here, and I didn't see it, sir.
I will say, a father being a father being so,
Church, Kwame.
Cochrane follow, that will mushroom, that Radiano. Baby, one more for Akuya. And to know when you put now one, I can't care so. Just like, oh, crap. Yet, open the crowd, one travel a human issue for because was so. I know one so no, I'm part the 1 year, no one yet. And I give one more to my also yet, you want to be a and what I don't care one more. Okay, yes. Tanya Pradana, your Rubio. Many politics. And this is what I saw. They will say youth of one power, but they mess up everything. They mess up everything. One more qualified. God, we are. And one a young man now. What now one go for the big to walk. And the Japanese no. Open a disaster. And this is what I look at. Name of young woman, Padano, Senior, Diplomat, any type of Padano woman. Because I say Africa, this too. Young woman said, I could have been a year within 1 day, 24 hours, boom, 1 year. And this disaster, and you got 2 people years, and you will be Obia, so my part. And you know, Ghana again, and some of us war. And you said, what I know, a young woman, what I call, Yama will put training. Now, what I know, so why you are watching for with the point. I'm a fan of friends because I'm doing it in my Ghana. And true, even you, a different president, minister, and you're too much.
Now, how about leaders? No, so I said, beyond with your position, no, I and my pen on swear. What have you got to say to that? Because I share videos of a guy be out or you funny near my compare the really good things in the West with what's happening in the poor way, African way, no. Some of the money are very funny, but why do you think, sir, in pinning for nan call matnas and also said, your mumma, nyansa from the good things they do, no, omonia na ebidie ma pena. Yesika no mo ye ne basa basa.
Me Kwame mo die, na me ka no kra. We are penny. Na wo beta o ma. Come on no what. They come show to a man is ka na ko pro ma. No nye abuku so no wo no. So ya. So ya ma o 10 cities. Just say Sakoto nkonya ko go school. Na ta wo de sa 10 cities na enya wo dia no. A move 5 or 8, come out, get friend. I really have a push. One man, I will teach you again. Can you problem? No one, you see, coming. I'm a man of Rampos, one more pet. And a man, I got press.
So what you're saying is that youth and the younger people in the course of your marry man a crossing cockcraft for the crowd is that. Yeah, no, my brain, no, my dine. Yes, I know Pessotra, and you mean I may come. I'm trying to see, so then I'll Pessotra, Kwame. Because
oh, yeah, I'm tired. I'm a man. Oh, yeah, the dear to see other young. Yeah, just Ghana. One was who be in the mineral, would do some smart, MPP, NDC, and they say, I went crack for years in reference. No, be up on the baby. And you got Brano, one more year, that's a brand new 1 year. Black Jenna walk over by weekend. And a man also that do one more a man also has a problem. But one more problem, no. And yet, you because it's a one for car. And can be a woman. And I said, one more plan to buy and just as for the car, you say, and teacher woman or Veno. For who are you to Fiamano? Near Toka Mano, near Africa for who will learn your position while Africa best losses are mad and you now for a public. That means I will book some company now, will go. The money won't call. What is now me give animal meaning really an income. And these are UN what United Nations for yeah. One way you know what the other. And then necessarily say, well, baboon of the cook and answer for crap. Now, a genie who found man will be here one more day for any here. Master one.
Wakasa ye pa Kwame made us say. Any final reflections be and some words we are person will can and I say you ben our person will tea na yabama. Now we just say what my views about near Mark and near Beshe, no so wish near my piece so Effie. What he shared with us and Umtino, Obedrini Honawaka wall panny and yes, sir.
Yeah, and I can get the planet or what the end to make me a dear so. Yeah.
I need it very important because some want to mean to me be a jar, any and cat, mean be a jana, a Yarian farming course, and I be more come.
Now, Yami Pacho, my new friend, and Jura and sending you see yellow. Check Ghana. Yeah, me, Yassi. Obia Kumobi. Obia Kumobi. Someone the cool, someone the cool. Your young queen. I know what the answer of people in Yellow. I have got a rumor. And the police is for. I'm a very sure. I'm here to say, if I wake a year sharp or come home, wake up when you're fresh for warm. I know you have to do warm. I'm here who said, share your chill warm, and who won't pass what's your chill, and not a woman pass walk. And if you're cool, dear, near what's here now. Yet we are more crumble for, and that's a roughness. And through that, the woman enjoy your watch. Because I never do what we have to say the truth. And not possible say, moment Muslim and not Muslim media, they will not have another problem. You come in the bar, and yet I hear from the Maya who will crack. Men, and yet they make up what you say, who are you cool? And perform you don't know what we're preparing, and yo, the deep, them will make that a child, no, now. Especially the younger people, I want to tell you, and you're wrong. The Pamuchopi, maybe I lose them for many years, my super fisherman, but may catch them. That, so back to me, I won't tell you for a woman. Won't you mean point out and jump on the side of my own? I am wrong. Then be a woman for the good joy. Or be a hospital near one grandma. Or maybe for hospital, I already have one. I am wrong, and it is wrong. And what that is 74. Titlo and penny for a woman. Who charity now? No, Casa Piazza, Yamano. Maintain some of the I can't idea one more that. Tell you what you're in yet. A partner there, some for your SDP, NDC, and then there's some for your Nkrumah Christopher. It doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, Ghana, a woman, you're passing here. So, once you are man who that's a Ghana door, and who are what they have, you are come up to your money to. And the young year, I said, we see Zongo and after the dear decision, young police for not one you show. When young I said, I just say you're pony and they are due on. I am very bad. Maybe I'm a camp. Well, my mother in America say, move it here. Let's say, move your Juma and you should be a bremo and you better break it in. Because they say, young one, your ball will move you. Or this is one answer so that ball will be said to Mano, or more need to ma as soon as. But, Miniano, I am going to move past it. Because everything, the baby cows. Yes, Ramo. Jan and you walk, Christopher, and you want them for you was the for you was before. And you're collective. And this agency baby, Mumma Kwame and Shushu. And son and Mubaya Maya, because Musi, me for the baby. The child up on baby was the crime. Someone play, go to 12 world police for, and you're fine. And the Ghana police force, Musia, tell you see a year near my. Tell you, the can says, Musia near May. Musia near May. Ghana soldier for Munya and Bruna Musia. One Musia child of Manuel.
Kwame, why are there, pa? I'm sir, and one on the tea, and you're Benny to me, Boma, and then you'll be out with here.
Oh, yeah, my airport to the Bolivia.
Anyway, Kwame Jinaho, obey the comment to be about. Calm yourself down and listen to this. Nahenya Ujin Wansana Mejawa Moaka. I say most Ghanaians don't respect the rule of law. It looks like your callers, as in like your submission is based on hearsay, and I can tell he has not experienced the current reality on the ground in Ghana. I support the military coming out because that is the only way to sanitize the violence and disrespectfulness in the society. But Kwame Asana Meja Wamawa Kasana, is it a code Ghana now throw away, military, they have a place. They should have a place. We need them. But I just personally don't think, sir, you're right to somebody taking the law into their hands. And yes, sir. Kwame, what would you say?
Police before I mission that for young and America, even Yapra, Yatimano, and the little mention what you on my own, young Nayakano. Now, what police need soldiers no when I had training on what scouts I want to be boy on my Ghana fire stop. Yamia Yuni Ghana fire stop. But I don't just a soldier, you go to Joe, police need to Joe. Let's say, a bassa woman to Jonah, who will point here over Fashua over for. Because you are training for that. Yes, because Ghana, Yamia Yuni, and Yamia because check your see what progress. Can you see what progress? I have said, Moon to Hacker, and I know you have to teach you. Moon to Haya, come on, baby, move from Ohio, where you have to teach you home. And we are going crazy. In your area, another, and I want to go the politics are back in camp. So who come back at I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the politics are back in camp. That's a no. Come on, Mahama and another Kufu will be any more of the castle where we want to do Kuma. Politics in Kenya, they are passing warm. I wish I'm not answer the enemy. So therefore, I do baby and you young because Mono, Mokrano, or you balance what to tell you know you may be a young honor. And you say a friend one, Munya friendly, Munya amount for them, Casamu, amount for buying.
And I think, Kwame, Yomuyan, they have to be consistent. It has to be inclusive. Buswe do a cheer, do ya come, there are one rule. Nasa, oh yeah, so they are also there different. That's where I'm saying M1 professionalism then by year. What do you know? Saying?
Ghana, both police, especially police, near tell who or more you can. They lack professionalism. I said, do man, your time one and you don't go to them. Yeah, because Ghana police need hey, small boy, oh, funny. You see, and you're professional. And you must be brave, and you're professional. And you know, you say, sir, I don't know, so what's what you say, but we are sure say, you try one Sadia Manina, woman and say, you
Kwame, you say a word to the wise is enough, me wa.
It's in the north. And you know, I don't know.
What you do, Bessie? Thank you very much, and so for your thoughts and so why and your contribution. Much appreciated.
Okay. All right, go bye.
Never knew the armor.
Ayo.
For so I have a kind son, and I am Yakon, and I was so good swallow to me. Moment, you may see a messing about. Yes, the parliamentarians, no more young cockra. United Nations say, "I'm for youth and rum." Almost yes, on Mary Mani Basa. In cockra, want to see a sick crab, you know, my brain, no, my dog, bring point a kayo and yamia. Yeah, dear girl, you can't seriousness, nay, they even swap from Kakra. Happily, may her blessed soul rest in perfect peace. Or say sponsor.
up the lanes. I got myself a sponsor. Let's go up there, my daddy, yeah, my baby. Let's go down and try, pressure, I can't be quiet. I don't ever mean to tell me something once I'm out of the sky. Slow down, it's the city of me, yeah. Slow down, you can't see I am me, yeah. Slow down, it's the city of me, yeah. Slow down, you can't see I am me, yeah. Mercy, mercy, mercy. These broke guys have lots of energy. Should I leave all this Gucci Prada? Now which one girl don't be a hunger? Dilemma, I mean dilemma. Bad girl bunny in dilemma. Dilemma, oh dilemma. Oh pinch your man, me when you're in fire. Let's go by your my daddy, yeah, my baby. Let's go down and try, pressure, I can't be quiet. I don't ever mean to tell me something once I'm out of the sky. Slow down, this is the end, yeah. Pulling for me, slow down. You can't see I am me, yeah. I'm pulling for me, slow down. This is the end, yeah. Pulling for me, slow down. You can't see I am me, yeah. Mercy, mercy, mercy. These broke guys have lots of energy. Number one champion. Africa's best station. Yeah. Yo, yo, Rainbow Radio. Africa's best station. Hey, yo, non-stop music, we are flow. Shot to rock, possess soul. Y'all know.
Ayo, say I was joining me and Nana on Rainbow Radio. I hope so we are on a honor more of course. I want to share with Rainbow Radio. I mean, I will be brave and check cry FM no ever to Jana. But for now, Nadia, I'll call Alexa over to me and I think it's on Google Home, but mainly Alexa. If you just ask for Rainbow Radio, Alexa, I do call or tune in and I say Facebook Live when the network is good. And everywhere, until you know, there's so many platforms. Auntie Agnes Norman, all the way from Peckham. So, it's really great to have such feedback. Mrs. Arthur, yeah, Mama Linda Assad. So, the whole Arthur family, our champion at Hill, and thank you, Auntie, for last week. Shower and Kabibi. I have it now. I was ill, very, very poorly, but your visit made a difference, and I'm grateful. Thank you. And there, Dr. Marc Baffoe, actually Mr. Marc Baffoe-Boney, a professional practicing pharmacist, UK, so our best church and MRP about COVID and the vaccines and everything. In fact, your kaya me amushimi wa honi says. Onunyebi, as a man, he had some affecting, kakra temporarily. In fact, I see, Ninim Haniema since honey, Jenny balls, a shrinky, not just say, yeah, but the good thing is, affecting the performance in a long term, everything is back on track. But then he's saying, a very important vaccine, so unya being or yalba. You're keen to know, he said, how are they rolling it out in Africa? In the West, India, we don't have to pay for it. In fact, they're begging us. Send SPM message in free. Is it free in Africa now? Because you see COVAX, a scheme, other countries no donate vaccines, and my countries now here help. And then to say, how is it being administered? At least you have to feedback if you got a free. To Mr. Wakona Koshu be now one mommy feedback why no mamma who said, yes, I say free, and I say yes. How do you in Ghana access the vaccine? There's a wild cost center be a friend will say, and I announce it on radio so say be uncle and I say you better all when I say how do you get to find out the vaccine where you're available at was center way. And this is so here. Didn't mark a training mappy and so actually Mr. Was Obenya Koya. No a video no so Asher and I say wash share with Wadam for be no so so when you're quiet in the live I wait to me I catch it up na fe I say Felix Arkhurst, I thank you for coming on board. Also the Ninchiaba Akwesi P Peter Ayen Soup Benko to Ben sorry Peter my amazing grace brother. Thank you for tuning in. And then I Bisana was so when you're beside just post it as a comment why not train my mark not on so and why my mark with a C MARC and yeah MARK into why dear so no so didn't name the other boy. I'll feature him from time to time because he says that he wants to also be helpful and I'm very privileged to have his support. And then Biona was say kahwasam tinamika say United Nations almost say a 30th we say no 30th June not a year or see them for whatever parliamentarian or parliamentarism day or whatever the focus are almost pesa almost kahwasam this year it's just to say that in parliament and I am not impinging for an adults and senior citizens you know almost adults and you know almost me for parliament a year inclusive at least you know young people have been that opportunity not almost so almost the I we say and the I involved is and then I made up in poker for quite business only question be no mamia oh yeah to mommy share be with you I see why is youth participation so important? So with future generations destined to live with the political choices made now, it is only right that they have a seat at the decision-making table. Yet young people are underrepresented in parliament all across the world. Did you say Ghana or just Africa? It's all COVID. In fact, in some parts of the world, you know, Kokrafo or Wukwani Asusoni Muna say or yeah. No Daya or your prime minister or your president or something. It's in why is it such say older folks in their doors their perspectives, ideas, talents and energy are vital to addressing many of the biggest challenges facing the international community. Now is the time to ensure that parliaments welcome the young generation. So how do we break this glass ceiling then, young people? In fact, I don't even know that to become a parliamentarian, you have a certain level in education, and I said, could you just become a parliamentarian? Also, in 2021, the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, and its member parliaments will mark the International Day of the Parliamentarism with a number of events focusing on youth empowerment following the recent launch of the IPU campaign. And this was like 30th June. But just keep an eye out for it. It's something in my dream saying, how can we encourage more young people then to think of politics and ultimately get into parliament? So what do parliaments do? Is a quick question now. You enable. So I see some strong parliaments are a cornerstone of democracy. They represent the voice of the people. They pass laws. They allocate funds to implement laws and policies and hold governments to account. They work to make sure that policies benefit all people, especially the most vulnerable. Parliament also link international and national agendas, ensuring that governments implement international treaties and agreements that they sign up to. They play a vital role in implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, has been working closely with them to help build their capacity in doing so. You hear the intellect, the risk-taking of young people and the youth in Parliament. In Timo hand it over and my young people now almost also Embra and almost for fresh ideas Embra But then again, just any I say be me will post be an amity, pen man, amity, yes, say idiot. You see, there may be a bit of risk there if, say, young people be bringing so quite or move back parliament. So what do? We need to have some succession planning way in place, strategy in place. And that's just my thought. It also what views be on it, Anna. Oh yeah, but let's start thinking about it. So you're a young person now, Timia. You have to start researching how can you get into politics and parliament and all that. And what do you need? A educational qualification now here and now saying usually some people when or more family members politics they end up doing that as well. And so I think it's a great opportunity to try and encourage a lot of young people to think about these things. Kofi Kinata said Chocho Mucho. I think that's what I was trying to play earlier on. Mama Intieno. Nasa is then we'll probably just wrap up and do a birthday shout out na. Oma omwedi omu birthday in the week no. Almost so ya omu de kakra. Debbie appear could be. Appear could be Mrs. Innocent. Thank you for tuning in. Why? Share your ideas with me, not just Debbie, but all what experience be of COVID. What will be that? Which one did you have? What reaction did you get from it, if any? Me, I had Pfizer. I don't think there was a major reaction. But afterwards, it got better, and I think I became okay. Into what experience now so when ya every mo and na ya yako ana area mote mini. I hope so maybe I'm more on the honum editing. I'm trying to find a song to get us to listen to. Unfortunately, it's not working the way I want it to know. Yeah, better so. Nachi Sakab, thank you for tuning in. I'll say hi, good afternoon, and good afternoon to you too. Felix, I'm happy to see Saone Philip Asari, yeah, we say acquaint.
You're too sexy. You're too bad.
Auntie Benedicta Dupoku Hendon Michelle Pa.
Oh my God, I love Rainbow Radio. Many colors, many voices, one God, one station.
IOM sir, Marina Aswacha sir. Na yeti na ya nyakusho na aba ni wiye. Iti yebeda munyi na ase se ne de bia yeda no se munyi ho ame susumini, especially say last week na mini hana me to amba. I'm still recovering anyway. I've tried my and then move on paya not more because it's like, oh, what have I got? And then COVID because I did a test and twice in Indian I was negative, but then I felt very, very unwell. And at least to know me Abba out, especially I was out yesterday. I went to church and then there's me Abba studio. But it's very important because like Mark said, in the COVID and you name how far the ever course. They say oh my two years so my third one a booster and come home, we have opportunity that's also betting me out why so why and I also work will be why because more dachi here so much I said we want everybody to live very, very long. And I want everybody to be very, very happy. And also but the question I'm person me DJ say engineer who you examine the country are you woman no you hear political way saying and you be a young people no almost adults so politics more and I almost saying United Nations I speculate no to me so I now Google International Day of Parliamentarism. No, 30th of June. Now share what the UN is trying to share with us. In countries emerging from conflict, robust parliaments can help make possible a peace transition to a functioning democracy by healing divisions in society through dialogue and cooperation. What do you think? Do you think that we need more youth, young people in parliament? And how can it be made a reality? Because they have the money, they can just always stay connected and influence people to keep them there. But how can we ensure, more opportunities for more younger people to come into parliament? And most importantly, when they get there, what do we expect from them? So, that's the question I made. Yeah, thank you all for listening. On this note, so where do your birthday now? What you mark? I will say who did it kakra boy what I'll say is nyame enkoswa na nsramu mo a na ye mo birthday no ene mo so a mo di mo birthday during the week no that's how we do it yeah person ye shramu ye strange rabbit mo na bibia mo be ye bia na timi ye se na be ya da chi mo ye so la mo so mo kai Felix Owusu ni nyimo hihye say happy birthday to mo ma me mbo eno ma mo na esia Menya enyumfo providia aka ho ebofo pena na ya madam wase na masori akọ ti wetie mi amedase over share video na amedase whoever why you any whatever you've done to help the show no thank you why me pacho me hwehwe enyum na me pena best me bon ama why Poku, and day your birthday. When somebody birthday shout out the real names now I need and I couldn't even mention them. Joanna Fosu Ansong, happy birthday to you. Ernest Opoku and your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Oh, Penny Jami, happy birthday. Shashay, and I said Shashay, happy birthday. Mama min kwarisha mami ekia labi sapon USA na min chiao. Oh, Obama ni so say dear Ade. Sister Jenny Sefa Asari, Paris, only the whole J family, especially Joelle. Across upon Joshua. Sapo ya buseni na me checha, mama me ya sapo o tausil me chaupa. Mesta kwejo ye boa me bia obi a me chia say rugby ana wo. And that Felix Owusu Anayete in the tune. I say happy birthday to you. I hope that more enjoy. So and you me and you know so I think so what I'm gonna try and do as an absolute final and you know daddy lumba or say 111666. Say see ya. Want to me can be white. Me that when you know me dominating come on next Sunday. I was hoping so I'll get another guest speaker on next week. And I will confirm the details in the week. But thank you very, very much to everyone who has tuned in, and I'm very grateful. I hope some of you enjoy the rest of the Sunday. And then those who are rooting for England, I think it's the day on Wednesday, Bay victory. I got through all the way through to the finals, and enjoy football, have a good week, have a productive, stress-free week. Nasa. But that's the number. I'll say 111666. Emanuela Kofo say happy birthday to is it Ayaman? Thank you. Why? And then that Ayaman, if I got the name right, happy birthday to you. Oh, actually, I will read this comment. Mr. Chrismo Esponde, I see on politics and age palaver issues. I will always bet on former U.S. President Obama being my admirer. What does it mean? Do you mean that you really reinforce there? You say we need more young people in parliament or not? Thank you so much for the support, Mr. Esponde. I know how hard it is to listen from Ghana. Gee, I'm grateful.
Jump.